Hey everyone. So, even though we are months away from the trade deadline in the NHL, it appears that it's trade season because we have another one to talk about. This time, Arizona and Chicago make a deal. Before we get to that, I just quickly want to say if you're not yet a subscriber to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. As long as you're a fan of hockey and a fan of the NHL, there are videos here for you. I do topics from across the league, so be sure to follow along and hit that subscribe button. Thank you. So, Arizona have acquired center Nick Schmaltz from Chicago in exchange for Dylan Strome and Brendan Perlini. And I was kind of shocked by this trade. I was a little shocked that Chicago would move Schmaltz, who is really one of their best young players. Arizona, they're obviously trying to win now and make some sort of move to make their team better right now. And this is an interesting trade, and when you really dig into it, there's a lot of questions involved, and who ends up winning this trade, I think, is very much yet to be determined. So when this trade happened, it happened pretty late last night. I heard about it on Twitter and was reading some of the replies and stuff, and a lot of people were saying that Chicago fleeced Arizona in this deal, and that Chicago is clearly the winner of this trade, and I don't get that at all. How can you say that at this point? The best player right now in this trade is without a doubt Nick Schmaltz, and it's not even close. He is by far the best player involved in this trade. Now, Chicago gets two young players that both have potential, and I think Brendan Perlini has a lot of potential. So that could, in the long term, end up being a win for Chicago. But when you look at it right now, Arizona got the best player, and that's Nick Schmaltz. So Schmaltz this season in 23 games with the Blackhawks, he has 2 goals and 9 assists for 11 points. Not as good of a year as he had last year, but not terrible either. He's a top 6 forward. He may be a third liner on a really good team. Last season, Schmaltz had a career year. He had a breakout season last year. In 78 games played, he had 21 goals, 31 assists for 52 points. That's a very, very good season in the NHL, especially for a kid, 21-year-old kid at the time. He really burst onto the scene and established himself as a quality player. And so far in his career, Schmaltz has played 162 games. He has 29 goals, 62 assists for 91 points in 162 career games. So not bad. Nick Schmaltz is the best player involved in this deal right now. Dylan Strome, he was a 3rd overall pick a few years back. He's now 21 years old, and he has not developed the way that Arizona thought he would when they drafted him. He has not played like a 3rd overall pick, and quite honestly, I think he is in severe danger of becoming a big-time draft bust. In 20 games this year, he only has 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points. He's pretty much been a bottom 6 player. He hasn't even played a full season in the NHL yet. He's played parts of a couple of seasons, but he has not played a full season in the NHL yet. He only has played 48 career NHL games, and in those games he only has 7 goals and 9 assists for 16 points. Nothing special here. Nick Schmaltz is a huge upgrade over Dylan Strome at center. A massive upgrade. Schmaltz can be your 2nd or 3rd line center. Strome, he's been a borderline NHLer. He's barely been in the league because he just hasn't been good enough to be in the league. Schmaltz is a massive upgrade for Arizona at center. Now, the key part of, if it was just Schmaltz for Strome, Arizona would win that deal a million times over. It wouldn't be close. However, there's also the Brendan Perlini involved, and that's where Chicago might have gotten a good deal out of this. Brendan Perlini is 22 years old. He's a big winger. He's got a big body, can skate, and has good hands. He's not a huge. He's not a guy who's going to have a ton of assists on the season, but he's a pretty good goal scorer, and he's going to put up goals, and he's done that already in his short career. This season, he has 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points in 22 games. Last season, in 74 games, he had 17 goals, 13 assists, and 30 points. And so far in Perlini's career, in 153 games, he has 33 goals, 24 assists for 57 points. And mind you, that's mostly playing a third-ish line role. He's not usually in Arizona's top 6. He's generally a third or fourth line winger. And he puts up a decent amount of goals. So Perlini is a guy that I like a lot. I think he has the chance to develop into a 20 to 25 goal guy year in and year out and be a power forward on your second or third line and give you some secondary scoring. I think Perlini can be a very solid goal scorer. Like I said, 20 to 25 goals every year. Arizona gets the best player right now. What this does for Chicago is gives them 2 guys with some potential to be good, really good players. And if Dylan Strome all of a sudden has a great breakout season and develops into the player that he should be, then Chicago absolutely has a chance to win this trade. And like I said about Perlini, I think he can be a good second or third line goal scorer, 20 plus goals a year, and a good power forward type kid. But when you look at what we're at right now, Strome has 16 career points. Perlini has 57 career points. Nick Schmaltz has 91 career points. Nick Schmaltz has more points in his career than these 2 kids combined. That's why I don't understand why people were saying that Chicago fleeced Arizona. Nick Schmaltz has more career points than these 2 combined. He is without a doubt the best player involved in this trade. And I think he's only 22. He has the chance to develop and continue to improve and get better. It's not like, he's 20, he's 26, and you get what you get, and you're going to get about 50 points a year from him, and then you trade 2 guys that are younger and could develop into better than that. And then if you wanted to say that Chicago wins the trade, then maybe you have a argument there. But Schmaltz is only 22. What if he goes from being a 50-point scorer to being a 70-point scorer? What if he has a season where he scores, 30 goals and another 40 assists? Or if he scores 25 goals and, 50 assists and gets 75 points? Schmaltz has room to improve as well, just like these 2 do. So I don't think you can call a winner in this trade right now because a lot of development still needs to happen with these players. They're all young players involved. But listen, Chicago stinks, okay? Chicago is not a very good team right now. They are not going to the playoffs. Honestly, they need a rebuild, and they need hopefully not a Buffalo Sabres long-term rebuild, hopefully a quick turnaround rebuild. But so they're getting 2 young players that could potentially make them better in the future. That's not a bad move for Chicago. Arizona, they're a team that really wants to win now. They've been bad for a while. They've got a lot of young talent. They need to win now. Nick Schmaltz is the best player for them to win now. He is a massive upgrade at center over Dylan Strome, and they had to throw in something else to get that deal done because nobody would ever trade Nick Schmaltz for Dylan Strome 1-for-1. They had to throw in someone else. They threw in Perlini, who is playing a bottom 6 winger role on this team. Not a huge focal point in their offense, and they have other young players who can step up into that role. I don't think Arizona really lost all that much in this trade. And if Dylan Strome becomes a huge draft bust, which I think he absolutely has the potential to, because his career is not off to a very good start in the NHL, if he becomes a massive draft bust, Arizona got rid of him. They got him. They got rid of him and got something in return before he became a total worthless borderline NHLer, or maybe even not even in the NHL. So we'll see what Strome turns into, but I think there's a real danger there of him turning into not even an NHL player. Perlini, I think, has a good future ahead of him as a power forward. I think he can be a 20-goal scorer. But Nick Schmaltz is without a doubt the best player involved in this trade. And Arizona got the best player. So with that, I think they're in good shape as far as they're concerned, because they're trying to win now, and Nick Schmaltz makes them a better team today than they were before this trade happened yesterday. They are a better team today than they were yesterday before this trade happened. And that's just the way, I mean, that's a good move for Arizona. So I think we have a chance, there's a chance here for Arizona to win this trade. There's a chance here for Chicago to win this trade if these two kids really turn into something special. Or this could be one of those trades that just helps both teams. Because it's definitely going to help Arizona right now. It might help Chicago in the future. It could just help both teams. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. It's way too early to declare a winner, because we don't know what all these players are going to turn into long term. But without a doubt, right now, Arizona got the best player, and that's Nick Schmaltz. He is a legitimate 50-point scorer. Dylan Strome and Brendan Perlini aren't even close to that. Perlini's a 30 to 40-point guy. Strome is barely even played in the NHL. Schmaltz is a legitimate 50-point scorer. So we'll have to wait and see how this turns out long term, but I definitely think this helps Arizona in the present and has the chance to help both teams in the future. But that's my opinion on the Arizona-Chicago trade. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, please, the link to our Patreon and merch store are down in the description as well. So please check those out if you're interested. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Almost to 600 subscribers, so let's keep going. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.